next, we switch from the world of Star Wars to the world of DC with arguably a character that Josh and I really, really enjoy. I just have one or two questions about how this is functionally going to work. And that is HBO Max is developing an Aqualad origin series. I believe it's supposed to just be a limited series, like more or less like a one season thing. And it'll be produced by Charlize Theron of all people. Going, interesting. Now, in the comics, there have been multiple versions of Aqualad. They have specified that this will be the kaldur'ahm version that we know from the Young Justice show, the one that got his own comic series. I think he's got a new one coming out now. I'm down for this for the most part. I kind of struggle with Kaldur at times because yes, I like his character a lot in Young Justice, but at times I feel like while he's a great character, he's unfortunately used as a political tool a lot of times. Of like
Yeah.
DC, it's just like, look how diverse we are. Puts Aqualad on the cover of everything else. I'm just going, is that it? Is it your only character? But I love him in Young Justice a lot for the most part. This does kind of give me a little bit of a platform that I'll kind of rant about season 4 in a little bit here. But when Josh and I would watch Young Justice in college, I think you and I both, Aqualad was up there for our favorite characters. Obviously, he'll never be my number one favorite for obvious reasons. But Aqualad was one of the few like fully developed and fully mature characters from the get-go. There's an aquatic elephant in the room, though. Is this connected to the Momoa thing or not? Is this a separate thing? Which is fine. But is it connected or not? I just want that clarification because as it stands right now, I don't know if Momoa's like, I don't want to say mature or grown enough, but he hasn't been Aquaman long enough to have an Aqualad.
Yeah, yep. It just kind of depends on timing, right? Because obviously this is going to come way down the road and definitely after Aquaman 2. And so maybe there'll be growth there that we will feel like, oh yeah, I can see him taking somebody under his wing. Kind of weird. All right, fine. Maybe someone to replace Mira.
Not the same type of dynamic there.
No. Not relationship wise. I'm just
not
saying
the same type of relationship.
character and team formation wise, because he's also kind of like how would you say, a water magic user.
Yeah, he's kind of like Mara in terms of he has some water sorcery. There's a name for the water sorcery too, but I forget.
Yeah,
it's not water bending. That's somebody
that's
else's
a different
shtick.
show.
That's somebody else's shtick.
Yeah. See, I think the cool thing about Aqualad, at least for us when we were watching The Injustice, is he was the one going into the show we knew the least about. At least personally for me, I had never heard of him.
I was used to the Teen Titans.
Yeah, but I had
Aqualad.
I had no
hydrokinesis.
Hydrokinesis. I'll take it. Sure. Fine. Whatever. Water sorcery still sounds cooler.
Frickin' bubbles. How do they work?
I don't know. Why do Atlanteans need water to talk? Anyway, so all that to say, it'll be interesting. I'm excited, kind of, question mark. It's one of the, like you said, like it's gonna depend on, is this quote unquote canon? Where's this in the timeline? Are we building to something with all these original series? Bro, if we get like an original, like a Teen Titans movie and it's not the quote unquote core cast, I'm super down. I'm okay with that. If you do it, a live action Injustice,
we had that. It was called the Snyderverse.
No. Live Jack.
Live Jack.
Live action. Live Jack. Jack me in there.
Black is playing Aqualad.
Plug my brain into the movie screen. With Blue Beetle, Aqualad, maybe get some maybe Dick Grayson will show up by then. Who knows? Like I just like there's a lot of potential, I think, to spin him into other stuff. Yeah, we'll see what happens. It is, I think, the weirdest part about it is that it's Charlize Theron who's producing it.
I didn't know she produced movies, but I'm so glad you
Yeah,
brought up the crossover thing because at first I was like, oh, cool, Aqualad. Again, there's higher priority characters that I would like to see on the big screen someday, but again, this is a small screen. Cool. How do I put this as nicest way possible? This character and this potential storyline definitely seems like something HBO would pursue. HBO
yeah.
and HBO Max kind of like the non-traditional characters, which I guess is why they've been so successful. But my main thought when I saw this, when I thought about it for more than an hour, I was like, oh yeah, we also have Batgirl coming with rumors of Robin at some point. I'm gonna jump from A to J right now and just assume that they're slowly building up a Teen Titans or a Young Justice squad with this new universe that's, put on hold because of Ezra Miller. Also, this is completely unrelated, but it's somehow connected back to DC. Whatever happened to J.J. Abrams? Remember
No.
how, like, beginning 2020-ish, before everything hit, JJ and Bad Robot signed that like $500 million contract with Warner Brothers. Why have we heard nothing about that since? I mean, maybe it's Rise of Skywalker related, but and they're trying to like hide that, but I feel like I've seen his name attached to like two things as a producer, but besides that, like, I thought they signed him for all that money to, you know, do stuff.
Nah.
Where's JJ stuff? I would not be surprised if they're leading up to a Teen Titans. Actually, my bigger fear is that Warner Brother, that the creatives for this are like, we want to tell an Aqualad story, cool, and then the higher ups are going, so y'all planning to cross this over someday, right? They're like, nah, actually, we were planning on making this its own romantic superhero story, with just a little bit of superhero stuff, but more or less like a romantic coming of age story. Nah, y'all thinking of crossing it over, right? Right? Because we do crossovers around here. Y'all can have your little romance, but end of the day, we need crossovers, and they'll be like, okay, sure, it'll be a crossover now. That's the right answer. Like, I worried that might
Yeah,
be the mindset
yeah.
here.
I can totally see that. I think, and this is something you and I have always said about Warner, and you know what? Maybe this will change, go with this new merger and all that. But you can tell a self-contained story and still do a crossover at the same time. Like, you just have to explain how they got to the place that they're in the crossover. Like, it's not that hard. Like, we don't. I think all that to say, I'm excited for this. I don't think it necessarily has to be a crossover. I don't think it necessarily has to exist in a certain space. I just would like to know where.